Hey everyone, I just wanted to show a few things that would be great if you are just beginning crochet or not totally sure what all you might need to start this adventure. The first thing is pretty obvious in my opinion, but it's yarn. You will definitely need yarn to start crocheting. You can crochet with other things, but yarn is the easiest for sure to start learning with. A few things, this is pretty universal on every brand, but you're going to see it's going to have a name. This is super important. This one actually has no dye lot. A lot of times if it's a variegated yarn, you will have a dye lot, and you're going to want to get enough for your project so that your colors don't vary too much. This is a medium 4 weight yarn. There are tons of different weights of yarn. This is usually pretty important, especially if you want your project to be a certain size or if you're making something wearable, then it's very important to have those. These also show the suggested hook size and knitting needle size as well for this type of yarn. So this is an eye hook is the suggested. Does that mean that's the only kind of hook you can use? No. You can use tons of different kinds of hooks. I personally actually have been using an E-hook on this weight of yarn, and I love how tiny they turn out. This also will tell you the material it is made out of. So this is acrylic. This is also important because you don't necessarily want to mix what kinds of item or the different like materials. They wear differently in the wash and all that kind of stuff. It'll also usually tell you how you can wash it. So this is easy to machine wash and dry. It'll also tell you these up here. You can't iron it. The water temperature that's suggested and all that kind of stuff. There are guides to those online. So that's, and this is also pretty awesome. Most yarns have a free pattern that come with them too. So if you want to look for those, that's also pretty cool. Okay, the next thing you will definitely need in your crochet journey, pretty much as important, is crochet hooks. These are my favorite crochet hooks. They are the Boyer brand. I don't know if you can see that right there. Boyer brand. They're from Walmart, and I haven't really had an issue with these. Some people say that they have an issue with these, but I have never had an issue. They also will all tell you what size hook it is. So this is an eye hook. And they come from, I think, a B. Yep, so as small as a B, and they do have the millimeters on there too if you are going off of that, and it goes up to an N size. So this is my favorite brand. There are tons of others. I do recommend getting metal hooks. They are a bit more expensive if I'm correct, but they're worth it. Plastic ones or even wood ones can snap. And if you don't have a large collection of the same kind of hook, which most people don't, having your hook snap in the middle of a project is awful. So these don't do that, obviously. The other thing that I do suggest to people when looking for hooks is these are called ergonomic. So they're thicker. And they just, for me at least, they make my hand relax a bit more. I have had wrist problems in the past from crocheting, and these have never caused that, which is so nice. The next things are not super necessary. So the next thing that I do suggest, but it's not necessary to get, is a bag for your hooks. So this is actually just a wallet that I found on clearance that has my initial on it, and that's where I store my hooks. It was not super expensive, all that kind of stuff. The next thing actually that is very important to have is a pair of scissors. These are two that I use a lot. These I love. They are called snips. I got these from Hobby Lobby. I'm sure you can find them other places as well, but snips. And then these actually, they're my favorite, but they're a Cricut brand scissor that I just grabbed out of my Cricut stuff. So, any pair of scissors you have around the house will work. Kid scissors, anything. But I do suggest you keep that close because you will probably need them multiple times depending on what you're making. The next thing is not super necessary either, but it's nice to have depending on your project. But that is stitch markers. So this is my favorite kind of stitch marker. They come in this circle or just a package of loose ones like that. And that's my favorite kind. They are really nice to have. Another kind that I've gotten before that I enjoy, especially if I'm doing something that I want to keep from unraveling, I will put it in the loop when I'm done crocheting for the day. But these guys are really cute. He's a little yarn ball, but they're just a lobster clasp on the end. So those are really nice. They definitely keep things from unraveling. The next thing also is not necessary, but can be nice to have depending on what you're doing. I find this very important, especially if I'm doing something big or that I have to do the same stitch over and over again, like making a square or something like that. And that's going to be a stitch counter. So this one is really easy. It just, you reset it and then you just count. And it does loop around your finger as well, and just it can stay there. It doesn't really get in my way personally. I could see it getting in some people's way. The next thing that's not necessary but can be nice to have is a measuring tape. I found this one at Hobby Lobby. It's a really cute one, and it just clicks out. It'll stay out until you press the middle. Super nice to have. The next thing also is not necessary, but I do put higher priority on this, is going to be some yarn needles. I prefer these kind. They are the metal plastic canvas needles. They are not super sharp at the ends. Great for using for yarn. They also have plastic yarn needles. I personally don't like the plastic ones. I feel that they bend and they make me kind of grumpy. So that is up to you depending on what you like. So the next thing also is not necessary. It really kind of depends on what you're doing, all that kind of stuff. But I have really found these nice, especially when I'm sewing a lot of things together. I do a lot of amigurumi, so I have to sew legs and arms and tails and ears and all that kind of stuff on. But that's going to be a rubber thimble or silicone. These might be silicone, but these are really nice. So what I often do is I'll grab two of them and I'll put them on like that, and then I'll grip the needle, and that helps so much. It keeps me from getting calluses all over my fingers, which is obviously, if you're doing a lot of it, then it's very helpful. I also found these are thinner, also work about the same, but they go up a little higher on your finger, so you can also use that if you're having trouble with the yarn burning your finger. On that note, something that some people find nice to have is a tension ring. So this just slides right on your finger. And then let me grab some yarn here. You just, this one, it goes through the cat's head here. Maybe. They're pretty much all the same. Mine's just a cat. It just goes like that, and it helps your yarn glide nicely. Holds your tension. As you can see, it's not, I don't know if you can tell, but it's not like super easy. So if you are crocheting, that can help you hold your tension if your hands are getting tired or anything like that too. Super nice to have. I don't use one all the time, but some projects are nice to have that. Another thing that I find this necessary if you are doing a lot of amigurumi, but that's going to be safety eyes. These come in 2 pieces, and they just click together, this part on the inside and this part on the outside. They're pretty secure. They do still recommend embroidering them on if you're giving it to a baby. Another thing on that same note, if you're doing a lot of amigurumi, if you're doing like blankets and stuff, this obviously isn't necessary. If you're doing a lot of amigurumi though, you're going to need stuffing. I get huge containers and then just stuff them in gallon bags. Then I can just grab one. It's a lot easier to take with me places. Another thing that's kind of nice to have, depending on what you're making, yeah, like I have run across a couple shoe patterns lately that have them, but buttons. It's kind of nice to have a variety. I can look through and find the color and the size and the style that I want. These you can just find like this. They come in these containers already. This is a hodgepodge conglomeration that I have created essentially over the years. The last thing I'm going to say, not the last thing actually, but one of the last things I'm going to say would be nice to have is a little notebook. This is so nice because if you're doing a lot of rows, you can just write down numbers. You can write down the entire pattern in these. You can get a bigger one, whatever you want to do. And the last thing I'm going to say that's really nice to have is a crochet bag. Can't really see the whole thing in there, but this is my favorite bag that I have gotten. It has lots of pockets on the outside, a very large area on the inside. There's pockets all the way around it, so you can put hooks and all that kind of stuff. But that's really nice to have because you can just grab it and all your stuff is in there and you don't have to worry about forgetting something or anything like that. So those are kind of the big things that I see are necessary to have and nice to have. You will come across other things that are nice to have as well. Sometimes sewing pins or safety pins are really nice to have, depending on your project, depending on the size of the project. But it really kind of depends on the pattern after that. Those are some pretty basic things to have, though. Do you need all of them? No. Do you need to go out and splurge and buy all that stuff right now to start? No. The things that you definitely are going to need, though, is a crochet hook, and you can just get one. You're going to definitely need that pair of scissors, and of course, you're definitely going to need some yarn. So honestly, those, if you're just starting, you're not sure if you like crocheting or not yet, those are the 3 things that you definitely need. And honestly, if you have scissors at home, you just need a hook and a yarn. So I hope this helped. If you have any questions, you can ask them. I will answer them to the best of my knowledge. If you liked today's video, please like this video, comment, ask questions, subscribe to my channel, and tell your friends as well. Thank you for watching. Bye.